I got caught tattooing a heart on my annoying coworker's butt. Well, there's more to this story, so I'll start from the beginning. But first, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. So, I used to work at a scrapyard as one of the heavy equipment operators. And that's where I met one of my buddies. Let's call him Ross. So it started with me bringing my tattoo gun to work because I wanted to show one of my other buddies uh, to show him it because I started getting tattooing. I like tattooing. And if you know me, then I got them covered in tattoos because I developed a bad habit of whenever I get drunk, I like to tattoo myself. Some of them don't turn out very well, but some turned out all right. So, as me and my buddy were talking, talking about tattoos and stuff, and working on all that stuff, the annoying guy, Ross, who has to be included in everything, and that he's always right, and he knows better, knows the best, said that he wanted to chime in. He's like, I got so many tattoos, and I never flinch at pain. I'll get a tattoo anywhere. And I was like, all right, bud, all right, we get it. Now I was fed up with this holier than thou, and he's always right attitude. And he's like, hey man, if you got your tattoo gun, man, I'll just give me a tattoo. And I was like, all right, yeah, we can do that. Let's do that, man. Instead of saying no, I was like, yeah, dude, I got you. But I decide what I tattoo. You pick the place. I'm cool with that. And he's like, yeah, sure, man. Let's go do it in the break room. And I was like, all right, man, let's do it. And it's like fucking around lunchtime, so we decided to head on over there, go to the break room, and set all my tattoo stuff up. And I was like, all right, where do you want it? He goes, no, I'll just get on my ass so no one looks at it if it's not a good tattoo. And I was like, okay, that's hurtful. But all right, whatever. I was like, I'll just do a heart. Simple shape. Simple shape. Now, he dropped his pants, and I guarantee it was the hairiest ass I've ever seen. And he dropped it so fast that I'm pretty sure he's a little fruity. Just didn't want to say it. Looking back on it now, I'm pretty sure he's definitely fruity. So I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever. So, you know, instead of like having him shave his ass or whatever, which I probably should have done, but I didn't give a fuck. Uh, I had shading needles and I had regular needles. So shading needles is like 4 needles and like one little cartridge. So when you go to shade, it shades a lot a lot more even and consistent than just a regular single needle. So I was like, all right, I'm doing it with the shading needle. So I was doing it with the shading needle. I was ripping hair out. He was not having fun with this tattoo. But I'm almost done with this heart and everything. And then all of a sudden we hear the door to the break room open and in walks our boss. And he was the big boss. And he was not he was not happy at all that I was tattooing a heart on Ross's ass. But he flipped out. He's yelling at us, cussing us out. I didn't realize this, but when I realized it as I turned around and saw him, and I was like, oh shit, man, we're fucked. Turned around and saw him. He's giving a potential hire, like some 18-year-old kid wanted to work at this job. And so he's like, oh, yeah, I'll give you a little tour of the place. He's giving that kid a tour as I'm tattooing this guy. And the kid's like shocked. He's like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm going to save the kid's life, by not getting that job. It was the worst job I probably ever had. I loved it. I loved what I did, but the management there was just absolutely horrible. It was horrible before I got in trouble for tattooing. But yeah, no. Just long story short, uh, I tattooed a pretty decent heart on this guy. It's still there to this day, and I've seen him a couple times in like at Walmart or something. He's like, "Hey man, tattoo's still there, man. It looks great." And I was like, "All right, man. All right. I know it doesn't look great. It's a halfway decent. It's the shape of a heart. The insides are a little fucked because it's a shading needle. Ripped a whole bunch of his hair out on his ass. It was funny. a fun time. Lots of fun about that. Yeah, no, that Ross guy, we just kept pranking him all the time while we were working there. Me and the scrapyard buddy, we'll call him Gavin. And so one day, me and Gavin, we're about to crush some cars. So we got to look through all the cars, take out what we can't crush or anything. We found a safe in one, and they had a sticky note with a passcode on top of the safe. So we were like, all right, sick, dude. We can just punch in these numbers and get into the safe. And so we get into the safe, and lo and behold, we found probably 3 or 4 vibrators. Why did we find those vibrators in the safe? I have no idea. Like, not money, just vibrators. And they're probably expensive ones. I don't know. So we then had the bright idea, it was getting close to quitting time. We had the bright idea to just take that safe full of the vibrators. And of course we're wearing gloves. We don't want no STDs. So we're wearing our gloves. Turn all the vibrators on. Surprisingly, they all turned on. It's like 4 of them. Lock the safe back up, and we take this loud ass vibrating safe, and then we just stuff it in Ross's locker, and it's just going ham. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And we just waited in the break room for when he decided to come in and put his regular clothes on to leave. And it's just he's trying to get into the safe, but he can't get into the safe because he doesn't know the fucking passcode to it. But we do. He wants to cut it off, and he gets so fucking mad at it. But he starts slamming it on the ground and everything, trying to get it open. And then eventually we open it up and turn the vibrators off because we were getting annoyed a little bit with how much was with how loud it was. But yeah, no, we were doing quite a few pranks there, and then we would just. Then after that, every now and then we would just take one of the vibrators. Like the following week, we'd just take one of the vibrators and just shove it in one of his boots. So he'd show up to work, go to put his boots on. There's just a vibrator sitting there, and it was a fun time pissing that guy off. I think that may be like one of my favorite things to do is just make people mad. I don't know. Either I'm a masochist or I'm an asshole. One of the two. But yeah, no, it was great. Sometimes we turn him on, and he hated it. It was a blast. But after that week, of us just constantly fucking with him with the vibrators. Ooh, I probably should have picked a better wording there. Messing with him in with the vibrators. He quit. Kind of started leaving us alone, so he wouldn't have to listen to all his BS stories about how he fought off a bunch of dudes. How he got jumped by like 15 guys, and he walked away without even a scratch. And he told some of the worst stories ever. But after that week, never really had any issues with him after that. So if you have issues with your coworkers or anything, just fucking get a safe full of vibrators and just shove it in their locker, or just put it in their car. And they're just like wondering what the fuck's going on. But he didn't even try to get us back with a prank or anything after that. It's kind of boring. But yeah, once that scrapyard guy, Gavin, once he left the job and got something better, it was just horrible to work there. It was the worst. But yeah, no, I guess that's that for that story. I can do more stories later, but I won't really posting this because I didn't have any other ideas didn't have any other more rage bait stuff that I could post onto shorts or anything like that. But yeah, man, like and subscribe if you liked the story, and have a good day, I suppose. Bye.